here's the tornado threat index. We showed you this at noon. This is at 2 o'clock, so a little less than an hour from now, and it still shows a small threat, a low threat, if you will, across the metro, including Gaithersburg up into Frederick and the district, and even down into Prince George's County. So some good news is by the time we get to, say, 2 o'clock, it shifts a little bit more toward Baltimore, and then by the time we get to 4 o'clock, it's almost across the bay. So the tornado watch goes until 7 p.m., but I think the threat, the legitimate threat, may actually be over by about 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock as it pushes east into Anne Arundel County and over into across the bay into the Delmarva. So that's some good news. Look what happens by 5 o'clock. Now we have an enhanced threat, parts of the Delmarva up into southern New Jersey, but we're in pretty good shape. So I think the deal is the threat for tornadoes will be over 3, 4 o'clock. The rain continues. Some showers are still possible even until 8 or 9 o'clock, and the flooding won't go away right away. Remember, all this water has to drain down the Potomac basin in the Potomac River, so we're probably going to see some flooding, river flooding, downtown, think Georgetown waterfront, think Alexandria, Old Town, as we get into tomorrow and maybe even into Friday morning. It takes a while for all that rain to get to drain down. So this is 3 o'clock on Futurecast. It has big storms to the south and east, but it has the lion's share of heavy rain up toward Frederick and also into Hagerstown and Martinsburg. And been harping all this Monday and Tuesday. This is where we really were concerned. I-81 corridor, either side, for some dangerous flooding. By 5 o'clock, notice all the bright colors, the severe weather across the bay now, some residual showers, a few moderate showers right along the Maryland-PA border. And then by 7 o'clock, I mean big-time storms up into southern New Jersey, kind of following that tornado threat index. But we still have a couple of showers and storms left back to the west. These could still be heavy. They could add insult to injury as we go through the evening hours. This is now 10 o'clock. Everything is light. A few moderate showers up near Baltimore, but this is going to move through pretty quickly. So again, the tornado threat is more than likely over by about 3 or 4 o'clock. The flooding threat may linger through the night. Chester.
And Topper, you were saying earlier that you think the biggest threat for us today will be that flooding, correct?
Yeah, I think it's going to affect more people, and it's very dangerous, and we're not done with it just yet. We have all kinds of reports of flooding, as I mentioned, in Hagerstown and also Frostburg and Allegheny County, and this is the radar. This is just, I mean, heavy rain is rolling through western Loudoun County right now, up into Frederick, up into Hagerstown, and we still have these storms that are just kind of peeling out to the east of 95. Notice the lightning strikes. They're getting a little more intense with lightning. So I think these are going to move across into southern Maryland. So we're going to watch this carefully to see if they extend the tornado warning into Charles County as we go through the next 30 minutes or so, if they actually either let this expire or they extend it or they turn it into a severe thunderstorm warning. Chester.
Okay, so I was looking at one of our tools that we have offline, so it's not on TV, but it is showing me the approximate area of where the tornado signature would be, and I'm going to point it out to you here on the map. It actually has not even entered King George County yet. So it is in this area here north of Brandywine and next to the Port Royal area and south of this little town here called Welcome. So this area here is where we will be watching for the potential tornado signature in this area here where the deep reds are. And basically the storm has just entered King George County. So we still have another 20 minutes or so of this warning before it even crosses across the county. And as it does that, I'm going to move the camera out just a little bit so you can see where Dahlgren is. That's one of the bigger communities here. It's still got to move all the way up here through Dahlgren before it can get to Charles County. So as Topper was mentioning, as it does that, if this signature can hold together, and these don't tend to last long, they tend to kind of spin up these tornadoes and these tropical systems. They spin up and they're around for 10, 20, maybe at most 30 minutes, usually less. And then the signature goes away, they tend to fall apart, and then you see other tornadic storms in other parts of these rain bands. But as this moves off to the north and east, I think there's a good chance that if it holds together, we'll get it into Charles County. Regardless, this entire band of showers here, this is where the tornado would be, again, near the Port Royal area, just getting into King George County. This entire band of showers and thunderstorms and downpours showers moving through King George County will move to the north and east up into Charles County. So keep an eye on it. If you're watching us from King George County, if you live anywhere in these communities along Route 301, you need to get into your basement immediately. Again, if you don't have a basement, the safest space in your home would be an interior closet, a room with no walls, a room with no windows, and as many walls between you and the outside. You want to get as many layers between you and the outside. The safest space is an interior closet, or any kind of bathroom or room that has no windows, and preferably cover yourself, as Topper mentioned, to cover yourself with blankets and as many things to protect your head and your body as possible. Lorenzo.
Hey, Chester, really quickly, you were talking about the tornado signature, looking at this dark red here on the map, and you and Topper, how you're going to be watching that very closely. What exactly is tornado signature? What can you glean from this map?
So you can't really tell from this particular map here. The only reason why I know this is the section is because I'm looking at a thing called the velocity, which shows the wind pattern and how fast the winds are. And there's a signature right in this area that's showing a bit of rotation. So the rotation is located getting into the Port Royal area. So I'm not showing you that here on TV, but I'm looking at another tool here on my mobile device. And that tool is indicating that there is rotation in this thunderstorm. So that's how the National Weather Service is gleaning that information, that there may be a tornado here in this storm cell. They're using the velocity, which shows you the winds rotating around this storm system. When you get that spin, that's how you know you have a supercell, a rotating thunderstorm. And oftentimes, not every time, but oftentimes, these spinning thunderstorms, these supercells, they'll drop a tornado. And in a tropical system, we know they can drop the tornado relatively quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4 scans of the radar, and then those tornadoes, they lift back up. But that's what we're using there, Lorenzo, to indicate that.
I can go to Max 1. I mean, okay. I can highlight this. We can scope this a little bit.
Sure.
And
if you guys want to pull up that source there,
you can see
Max
a little bit down where you were talking, down southwest of Potomac Beach and Dahlgren. So right in this area is more than likely the best chance. Yep. And as you mentioned, yeah, these are little quick spinners. They spin up, they go down, they spin up, they go down. Very typical with the remnants of a tropical system. So that's probably the best area if we were to see anything at all in there. That just, see the scope just changed. They just did a sweep. So it does not look as bad as it did earlier. But again, this storm is moving off to the north and the east. So if you're in, anywhere in this area, La Plata, okay, now we got a new tornado warning in Charles County and Prince George's County till 1:45. These are just going to spin up as we go through the afternoon. There's just no doubt about it. So now we have a new warning up in this area. So tornado warning for Charles and Prince George's County until 1:15.
Oh, that one has a good signature on it, and I don't mean in a good way. I mean that this is a very clear signature on the radar that I'm looking.
It does?
Here on my phone. Yeah, it's south of Bryantown and south and west of Hughesville and Charlotte Hall. So if you can find those on your map there. If you live just southeast of La Plata, too. So this is just southeast of La Plata.
Right. There's Charlotte Hall.
Yep. And that is where the signature is showing up there.
So you're talking right in this area
right here? In that area there. There is a signature you're almost right on top of it.
Trinity Church Road and over toward Olives Shop Road. So if you're in this area and you're in Hughesville, take cover. You're in Charlotte Hill, take cover, even though you're technically out of the warning area. So this is the latest tornado warning, and it includes a good chunk of Charles County and Prince George's County, and that will continue until 1:45 there. So I'm going to take that off and give a little better idea of what it looks like right now. So this is a dangerous storm if we're seeing that kind of a signature on it. In terms of how high they are in the atmosphere, these are kind of low toppers, really. They're like 20,000 feet. So they haven't had the chance to build. There hasn't been really that much sunshine today, but they have energy from upper winds, front moving north, and also the remnants of the hurricane and the tropical storm. They got a lot going for it, but as you mentioned, these are quick. They spin up quickly and they go down quickly. So take them seriously. They're still dangerous. But just remember that you don't have time to really make a plan. Hopefully you have a plan in place. So King George goes until 1:30, And that is this area down here, but this is a new one now for Charles and Prince George's County until 1:45.
And that one's moving to the north at 35 miles per hour. So just probably a little easterly jog to that.
Okay.
But north at 35 miles per hour.
So let's just go ahead and track this. So let's just say we'll put it down here and track it northeast, maybe a little east, as you mentioned. So
yeah, we got a bit of a hook, the signature there. It looks like you may have the composite on your radar, but there's a bit of a hook there on the tilt number 1 on the radar here, the lowest tilt.
So Pinefield, 121, North Keys, 131, Dunkirk at 141, and Queen Anne at 155. So if you're anywhere in those areas, you should take cover. If you know someone there, direct message them or Facebook them or call them because you got to take cover. You have to take this seriously. And again, these will come up quickly and go down quickly. And in addition to that, we have to worry about flooding as well across most of the metro area. We should probably, just kind of reset here and talk about that everybody's under a tornado watch until 7 o'clock tonight. So Leesburg, Loudoun County, Frederick County, points south and east. But then these are the bright reds, and those are the tornado warnings right now. Extreme southern Prince George's County and a good chunk of Charles County.
And Topper, for people at home watching, when they hear watch versus warning, can you distinguish the two?
Yeah, we can. I mean, we talk about this, and this goes for anything really. A watch just means, hey, it's favorable. These storms could produce tornadoes. Be prepared. Stay alert, and also have a plan. But when there's a warning, it's occurring, and that's when you need to take action and need to implement that plan. You don't really have time to make a plan. You need to get the family together and say, here's where we're going to go, here's where we're going to meet, here's what we're going to do if we see a tornado warning. So warning it's happening, watch it is possible, and as Chester was mentioning, the best place to go obviously is away from windows, okay, and into an interior room, bathroom, stairs. If you have a basement, that's even better. And yes, it sounds silly covering yourself with a blanket or a mattress, but it can protect you, especially inside a bathtub. We have seen that time and time again with tornadoes out in the Midwest. Basement is the best place.
All right, Topper,
obviously.
We're telling people in King George, Prince George's County, and Charles County to take cover right now because of this tornado warning. So how long should you stay in this interior room or this basement if you're taking cover right now?
Until the warning is expired or until we give you the go-ahead, the all clear.
Okay.
And these are, watches cover a broad area for several hours. Warnings cover a very specific area for anywhere between a half an hour to 45 minutes. So if you're in this area and we say there's a warning till 1:45, just plan on being there till 1:45 unless we say, hey, it's been canceled, the threat is over.
Okay.
And I do want to mention that, while we're talking about, Prince George's County and Charles County, I do want to say that, you folks outside of this warning area up in Upper Marlboro also have to think, oh, this is coming our way. It's moving northeast. We're not in a warning yet, but we could be. So it's time to also try to, take cover and get ready for it and don't wait for the warning to occur. That's why I always say, geography is important. Know who is south and west of you because most of the tornadoes move northeastward, and most occur between 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. So we're kind of in that zone.
Getting close, yeah, we are. So we've got 2 tornado warnings if we want to go over that stuff again. And I'll switch over back here to this source. So this is the wide view. We've got this tornado warning, King George County, this one getting into Charles and Prince George's County. So we'll go in a little bit closer here, and I'm going to track this storm here, the one getting in towards the Dahlgren area. The storm is moving north and east of Port Royal at this time, and that tornado warning is until 1:30, so another, where are we at now, 12 minutes or so. And then we've got the other tornado warning that covers Prince George's and Charles County. So let me show you the track here on this one first. It's going to be into the Dahlgren area at 1:30 and eventually towards Morgantown at 1:36. And then this storm here is until 1:45, and I've circled that area where that hook is, and you can kind of see it almost right in the middle of that circle. There's a bit of a hook there. That is a hook echo, we call it, and it's indicative of a supercell. They don't show up super often around here, so it is interesting to see how that's developed there. And I've put on a track to show you where that is headed to next. So if you live near the Regency Stadium, or if you live near St. Peter's School, Cedarville School, or the towns of Malcolm and I believe that's Orme. Just
Yeah.
go ahead and take cover right now. Get into that basement or lower level, as Topper was talking about, or that interior room. If you live in a mobile home, we always have to remind folks here, you're not safe there in a tornado or a severe weather situation. You want to find a sturdy building. So find a sturdy building near you. Do not remain in a mobile home. Those are incredibly dangerous in tornadic situations. Again, Prince George's, Charles County, this warning is until 1:45, and if I extrapolate a little bit, as Topper was mentioning, Upper Marlboro, down through the Rosaryville area, you want to keep an eye on this storm as it continues to make a beeline to the northeast, because it's in line to move your way. I'm going to move the radar back down. You can see that hook I was telling you about earlier.
Yeah.
That's the pronounced hook that we're seeing there. And that's also where the velocity signature I was looking at the other map, which is showing you the winds. You're getting a spin here, and that spin showing that there's rotation in that thunderstorm. So that's what we're watching right now with that tornado warning, again, till 1:45, Charles and Prince George's County. Topper, what you got?
Okay, so yeah, we don't see that too often, but that is a pretty good, we call hook echo there. And so, yeah, you need to pay attention if you're inside the warning area, but also if you're north and west, or north and east rather. So here's the tornado watch. It covers Loudoun County, Frederick County, and points south and east, and that goes tonight until 7 o'clock. The bright reds that you see here, King George and Prince George's County and Charles County, those are warnings. It means it's happening right now. So here's the big radar. Heavy rains continue west of town. All the severe weather now sparking up on the east side of 95 across the river into southern Maryland. And again, even if these aren't tornadic, they are going to be severe. So what does that mean? Well, you could have flash flooding. You could have winds up to 60 miles per hour. So it kind of becomes moot whether the 60-mile-per-hour wind is generated by a tornado or just a straight-line wind. Damage is essentially the same. So here are the warnings. Tornado warning for King George until 1:30, and then we go up here, and that is a tornado warning for Charles and southern Prince George's County until 1:45. Let's focus on this. Here's that hook echo, or the hook area that Chester was talking about, and don't want to be anywhere near Route 5 right now. We'll zoom in a little bit. That's just a mess. And if you're up toward 381, it's heading your way. It's headed toward Brandywine. It's headed up to the north and the east. But look at the heavy rains through much of Malcolm and down toward Poplar Hill Road and also over toward Woodland Road. And this is just going to get heavier as it moves northeastward, right through the polygon. Now, where's it going? Upper Marlboro, 139. So you're not under a warning yet. You're under a tornado watch, which means conditions are favorable, but you need to go, okay, that's down to my south and west. I better pay attention here. I better maybe secure some loose objects, maybe have some loose chairs or small chairs out on the deck or patio. Just bring them inside. What do we have? Traffic camera in the area. Where are we? Route 5? 301. Okay, 301 and 5, yes. So that's not crazy bad right now. It shows some rain. It's not that dark, so that's good news. I think that is a little bit to the west of this particular storm, but still, roads are wet, and you got to still be careful just with that as we go through the evening hours. So Upper Marlboro, please, 1:39 arrival time there. As we mentioned earlier, yes, we're going to harp on this, but we're going to also harp on turn around, no, don't drown. We always show you a video of a car stuck in the water, so we're going to just hammer this home. Interior room. Interior hallway, away from windows, away from anything that could produce flying debris. So cover yourself with a blanket or a mattress for protection. Now, if you have a basement, that's the best place to go, but some basements are a walkout. Don't go near the windows or doors down there either. You're better off down there, yes, but if you can, get to a part of the basement that is away from the windows and doors. Here's that tornado threat index, and by 2:30, it's shifting a little bit to the north and the east, sort of in between Baltimore and D.C. By 4 o'clock, it's almost through the metro, exiting Anne Arundel County and going across the bay. So the tornado watch goes until 7, but we really feel that the threat is going to be out of here by about 4 o'clock. Now, the flooding will continue. The flooding risk, anyway, will continue. Look what happens to our friends out toward Dover in southern New Jersey, and that's by 5:30 for the threat index. So it leaves us alone a little early, a little ahead of schedule. We kind of backed up the timing last night at 11, and we backed it up a little bit more today. So where are things going? This is 3 o'clock. We still have heavy rain, Frederick to Hagerstown. We're talking rainfall rates of 2 inches per hour. It is a very tropical air mass, and we have big storms DC and also south of town. So as we mentioned, the bullseye of heavy rains north and west of town, but everybody is under the threat for tornadoes and flooding. Okay? By the time we get to 4 o'clock, we have heavy rains, Montgomery County, Howard County, back into Prince George's County, and that is 4 o'clock with big-time rains up toward Baltimore. Don't want to be on 95. I said this yesterday. If you can be off the roads by 1 o'clock, try to stay off the roads. By 5 o'clock, it's better, okay? The heavy activity is now across the bay, but we still have some moderate to heavy activity back toward Hagerstown. This is more just heavy rain, not so much for severe storms, but it will add insult to injury on areas that have already received 3 inches of rain. So,
hey, Topper, if you can you show us a live look at the radar at what people are seeing in the Hagerstown area right now? Because we're going to go to our Matthew Torres, and I want to get some sense of what you're seeing and how his...
I can stand by. So there's the watch. Now, Hagerstown, you're not under the tornado watch. You're under the flash flood watch. So here's the radar, and it's just to the north up into Frederick. So in between Frederick and Leesburg and Hagerstown, we've got some big-time rains going on.
Yeah, not looking good there. All right, let's go to our Matthew Torres now with a closer look at what's happening there. Okay, live TV. We don't have that yet, so we'll get to him in just a minute. In the meantime, Topper, show us what you're seeing right now.
So now we have a new one. This is a new tornado warning for Charles and King George until 2 o'clock.
Yep, and if I can interrupt you
yes,
there,
go.
so you have the latest information there, Topper. This storm is located near Colonial Beach. It is moving northeast at 20. It's the same storm that was warned on for King George over the last few minutes, so it's a new warning. And that storm cell, it really is right, it's almost due south of Dahlgren. That's where the signature is for the tornado, and the rotation is looking well defined, by the way, Topper, on the what I'm looking, the velocity here.
Okay, so if you're in this area now, this is a new warning, and it is also moving to the northeast at about 20 miles per hour. As Chester mentioned, it is near Colonial Beach. It's radar indicated, but it has some good signatures, has some good potential, if you will. So we have the warning there. That goes until 1:45, and then we have the new warning down to the south until 2 o'clock, and that's King George and Charles County. So these are going to be kind of fast and furious as we go through the afternoon. So we want you to, take cover if we tell you there's a warning, and most of the metro is under a tornado watch. That hasn't changed. That's going to go till 7. They'll probably trim it down or trim it back as we get through the evening hours. But this is the tornado warning for Charles and Prince George's until 1:45. Heavy rain, flash flooding, gusty winds, and a possible tornado. So heaviest rain now, Poplar Hill Road, Byrontown, and also Gallant Green Road as well. But this is going to push to the north. Rainfall rates here a little over 2 inches per hour. So that's big time. That will cause some flash flooding. Headed toward Upper Marlboro at about 1:39. So you're not in the warning just yet, Upper Marlboro and Rosaryville, but you could be. You probably will either be in a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning in the next half an hour. Zoe.
Yeah, all right. Now I want to get to our Matthew Torres in Hagerstown. Let's check this out.
Yeah, the rain here has really just been picking up within the last few minutes. It only just takes a few seconds to be outside, to be completely drenched. As you can tell, we had to take out the rain pants as the water is now flowing here down the street. We were just outside of the downtown area of Hagerstown. Obviously, the rain has been consistently pouring down here. And so overall, we are starting to hear reports of some flooding. And so we're trying to gauge a better understanding of how bad the problem might be. But with how consistent the rain has been, regardless, it seems like with areas that are prone to flooding, that it's certainly going to take place. There is one underpass that is now being blocked on West Memorial Boulevard because it's where drivers tend to frequently get themselves stuck in the water. And so as a precautionary measure, the city has blocked that particular area. But no doubt it's really just people scurrying around, avoiding getting wet. But it's so hard, especially with how hard and how fast the rain has been coming down.
A good reminder there for Matt in Hagerstown, Chester, just taking these precautionary measures and, these flood-prone areas, making sure those are blocked off in advance. And he was telling us earlier, make sure you heed this warning. Don't go around those barriers. They have them up in place. We don't want to keep our first responders busy with unnecessary emergencies.
Yeah, definitely a good idea to please just stay home if you can and avoid travel if you can. And then if not, Turn around, don't drown. Do not drive around these barriers. You're not a superhero. There's no reason for you to go through these flooded roadways. We've seen it time and time again. People, they get a little arrogant. They don't realize that this is literally a life-threatening situation. And we have multiple flood warnings, these green colors here, across parts of the Shenandoah, out into Hagerstown, and then out in the Cumberland area and down through Paw Paw as well. Again, we have the flood watch for the entire area, 2 to 4 inches of rain in the forecast here. Then there's the tornado watch until 7. We've got this warning here until 1:45, parts of Charles County and southern Prince George's County, and then this warning here in King George County and parts of Charles County until 2 o'clock. That one was just issued. So this part of the line is where the severe signatures have been. These have just been heavy rainers, but we'll keep an eye on any of these storms as they move into Metro Washington. Looks like rain is getting into the metro right now, but we want to concentrate on this storm here in the Dahlgren area, just west of Colonial Beach and getting into Dahlgren again. We've got 2 warnings. This one expires at 1:30, covers much of King George, the rest of King George County, and a sliver of Charles County until 2 o'clock. Put a track on it so you can see what's happening with this storm as it moves to the north and east. And again, it's going through the Hose area, Barnesfield Park, and Crane Memorial Park, and through Newburgh. That includes Dahlgren and the Naval Station there over the next few minutes. Again, the signature.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm just making a new graphic here. So let's kind of reset, if you will. Can we go back to, let's go back to, are we on one now? Yeah, we're on one now. Okay, so here's the deal. So the watch continues for Loudoun County, Prince William County, Fauquier County, and points south and east. All right, so that goes until 7 o'clock. And then the bright yellows that you see here, that means that there is actually a tornado warning in effect, as we mentioned, for parts of Charles County and Prince George's County. And we're going to see these little tornadoes, spin up, and they will continue to do this until probably 3 o'clock or so. It looks like, I'd say 3 o'clock or so. So we'll zoom in. So that goes until 7 o'clock.
Okay.
And then now we've got the warnings to the down to the south.
King George, and then parts of Charles County as well. And then we've got your radar up here on the band.
Okay.
And so we've got these storms. This one is the one that has the hook echo on it, moving into Prince George's County, and then another one moving towards the Dahlgren Colonial Beach area there, topper, that we've been tracking over the last several minutes.
So there's one down toward Charles County and Prince George's County, and that's, as you mentioned, the signature was pretty impressive with that. So that's, it could be a very small tornado, but just take cover. Yeah, and it's essentially around 381, and it will continue. The warning goes to 145. We'll see if this is extended. So this is not working for some reason. I don't know why. Okay. All right. So there's the track. Okay. So it's headed northeast at about 25 miles an hour. So if you are in any of these cities, Upper Marlboro, Leland, begin to sort of take cover and maybe some precaution, if you will. So even into Queen Anne and around the Bowie Bay Sox area, around 202. So this is moving northeast. Is it going to continue to be tornadic? Maybe. If not, it's still going to be a big storm, capable of producing strong winds and damage. So let's talk about the tornado sheltering again. Lowest level of your home, basement is best, interior room away from windows, duck and cover. Protect your head and your neck from flying debris, because that is the #1 issue with injuries in tornadoes. This little weather clicker, not a problem. This is driven at 60 miles per hour, it's a problem. So cover yourself, get away from the windows. All right, so here's the tornado threat index again. This is 230, and it's moving north of D.C. The highest chance will be up toward Baltimore, and then by 4 o'clock, it's about to roll across the bay. Now it's in Anne Arundel County, but notice back to the west, D.C., Prince George's, Charles, and even back into Loudoun County, it's gone. So that's why we feel the threat of tornadoes are going to get out of here in the next 2.5 hours, or hour and a half to 2 hours.
So Topper, why do we have to watch until 7?
Well, I've been in seminars where you have to decide who's under a watch and who's not. Right. You're going to err on the side of caution.
Okay.
And what they're going to do is they're going to trim that watch back as the threat pushes eastward. which is a relatively new thing. They didn't do that 20 years ago. So that's what you want to do. It's better to go, wide and then focus in as we go through the evening hours. By 7 o'clock, all the highest chance of a tornado will be up into places like southern Jersey.
Topper, I'm going to interrupt you real quick.
Go.
We just got a new tornado warning. And that is for St. Mary's and Charles County until 2 o'clock.
Okay.
And that is, again, a radar indicated tornado or possible tornado with that severe storm, the same one we've been tracking that's been coming out of King George County there. And you see it on your screen, and I've got a track on that showing that storm moving through Dahlgren and right on up through Morgantown in Maryland, Shiloh, Allen's Fresh, Newport, and hopefully I'm not mispronouncing this.
Wicomico. Yes, this one's moving at 35.
Yeah, a little bit speedier there.
A little bit speedier, and as you mentioned, is near Dahlgren right now. So if you're anywhere in Charles County or southern Prince George's County, I think I would just be on the lookout for tornadoes. I really would. So we're looking at this is going to continue at least for another hour and a half with little tornadoes kind of spinning up. Now,
yeah, and if we have this tornado, if it's on the ground, it would be right in between Potomac Beach and Dahlgren. So let me zoom in just a little bit closer. We'll leave it up on your screen here, and I wanted to show you this area. So that's right off of Maryland 205. There's Colonial Beach there towards the bottom of your screen. Let me see if I can get rid of some of this clutter so you can kind of see a little bit better. But Colonial Beach and Dahlgren right there on your screen. You see Maryland Route 205. That is where the storm would be at this moment here. And the possible signature of the tornado showing up there, the very bottom of that storm in this area here,
right. Okay.
As it moves off to the north and east.
Okay, all right. So if you're in this area or north and east of it, please take cover. Really, if you're anywhere in Charles County, I would take cover in southern Prince George's County. This is a pretty serious situation. And rainfall is heavy, although I think the main problem here is going to be the chance for some little tornadoes.
Little spin-ups.
EF zeros, EF ones. They may not, they're not going to be like a La Plata thing, but they can cause some damage, and they can, throw your, unsecured, chair through your door or something like that.
Take some roofs off of houses.
Or throw your, oftentimes you'll see the basketball hoops that don't have enough sand in them. Yeah. They'll go over the side.
Trampolines.
Yes, they're like sails. So that's very important just to kind of, keep that in mind and take it seriously. And okay, Zoe?
Yeah, I'm trying to get an understanding if our producer can tell me, are we going to an interview or do we have video?
Okay, while he's sorting that out, we also are looking at this tornado warning. I'm curious to see if they're going to expand it into Prince George's County. They chopped off most of Charles County, but you can see that warning's until 1:45, and that storm still has a decent signature of rotation on it, but I don't know if they're seeing something else that indicates that it may not be as serious as before. But if you live in the North Keys area or near Bald Eagle, right off of Maryland 382 there in Prince George's County, or just east of Brandywine. If you live east of Brandywine off of, what is that? I believe that's Keys Road. You want to get in your shelter right now if you live in those areas there, just because of that possible tornadic storm moving through your area right now. Again, moving to the north with a slight easterly jog at 35 miles per hour. This is a radar indication of rotation, which means there may be a tornado. It's right over the Baden area right now, and east of Brandywine, and south and west of Dunkirk, and south and east of Rosaryville. So kind of that area between there. So we're continuing to watch that at this moment.
Yeah, and I think we have some video right now from the Harry Nice Memorial Bridge. We're talking about that southern Maryland line, sort of in the area where these tornado warnings are. Yeah, 301. If we can get that live picture up right now, just to give you a sense of what it looks like there. And it's tough to make out here, but you can look at sort of the way that, it's a blur in the distance. So obviously the wind speeds are picking up there, and you still have this driver going over the bridge with the hazards on. But obviously, Topper Chester not looking good. Again, this is the Harry Nice Bridge just off of along 301.
It's a big commuting route too. A lot of folks will commute that way, sometimes to get up to D.C. from King George County and areas to the south.
It's
a
haul.
Normally that would be clear, but this is sort of this monochromatic image here just gives you an idea of just how bad it is.
I wouldn't want to be on that bridge at this moment.
I was surprised to see anybody going over the bridge.
Don't want to be on the bridge. Don't want to try to outrun tornadoes in your car. You want to get to a secure shelter. So and it's not doesn't end well if you try to do that.
One of those myths that are out there, Topper, I've heard a lot of people talk about this. You don't, a place that is not safe is an underpass. People used to pull over.
Used to be.
Yeah,
yes.
and now they are finding out that people can literally be sucked out from under those underpasses.
Yeah, you get the Berluti effect where it just takes the wind and funnels it, becomes even stronger.
Right.
And yes, that is the conventional wisdom has changed on that, as
a
it
good
has in
reminder.
lightning safety. Yeah. Lightning safety, they would say lie flat. Now they say get on the balls of your feet.
Yeah.
You want a little as possible can contact with the ground. With the lightning.
Yeah, during major storms, you often see people congregate.
Sure,
near
absolutely.
these underpasses. So good idea not to do that.
Not to do that. I'm going to run over to the key for a second.
Okay.
Chester, I'll do a quick little show.
Yeah,
Let
so
you
you
reset some stuff here.
Reset that stuff, and I just want to point out that we still have those multiple warnings. There are literally 3 tornado warnings for this area right now. Until 2 o'clock, King George and Charles, and that is covering that Dahlgren area up to Pope's Creek. We just showed you the bridge there on 301. That is in the tornado warning. Faulkner, Newport, if you live in those areas, you want to get in your shelter immediately. It is not safe to be outside. If you know anyone who's driving out here, if you know anyone who's outside, this is the time to get inside. Again, to your safe space, whether that's a basement or the interior room with as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Again, if you live in a mobile home, not a safe place to be. Topper?
Yeah, no doubt. So here is, as Zoe was mentioning, well, why is it so far back to the west? We're going to probably see this trim back, but not for a couple of hours, though. Right now, it does include Frederick County and Loudoun County, Fauquier and Prince William County down toward Culpeper. And Watts remembers, hey, things are, conditions are favorable for this to occur, in this case, a tornado. And then we'll zoom in a little bit and you'll see all the areas of bright red. Those are actual tornado warnings. That means it is occurring. So,
And it looks like they canceled that tornado warning for Charles.
Yeah, they did. They
George.
just canceled. Yep. That's good. Okay, so here's the big radar. Still heavy rains. We're still talking about massive flooding between Frederick and Hagerstown and over toward Cumberland. That's over the past couple of hours, but these are the storms that have moved northeastward on the east side of 95 that they've become severe. We'll zoom in. So now we have this warning here, which is still in effect until 2 o'clock, another 20 minutes or so. So that's for part of Charles County and St. Mary's County. La Plata, you're not quite in it, but I would take cover. And then this is a little tiny warning, but I'll tell you what, this is essentially, I think this storm's out of this polygon now. I think it's up 382. So we may see this just next 4 minutes, just let it die, or we may see this extended. I think they would have extended it earlier if
Agreed.
it were, and not even a severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah,
so
I think they're going to let this one just
So that one's
expire.
probably just going to go by the wayside. That said, we have heavy rain up 382 south of Upper Marlboro. Rainfall rates there about 2 inches per hour. So heaviest rain right now in North Keys, Candy Hill Road, and Bald Eagle. And you guys are out of the tornado warning. And I think you folks down toward Ashbox and also down into 381. I think the risk of tornadoes is over for you right now, at least. We'll zoom back out. We'll track this. I mean, Croom High School, it could get up there, and it's still going to be a strong storm. That's at 146, 4 minutes from now. Patuxent Elementary School at 154, and Bayard at about 157 as it moves off to the north and the east at about 30 miles an hour. And we still have this tornado warning for Charles and St. Mary's County. That's a pretty big area. And 236, notice the lightning. Either side, 236. So maybe this is becoming a little more intense. We'll monitor that for lightning strikes as this moves northeastward as well, crossing over 5. So you're in Mechanicsville or La Plata, you should take cover, even though you're not in the warning area. But the best chance for this is up 301, kind of following this path right here, up toward 5, just to the west of Mechanicsville. So you should take cover. You should have done that already. So
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a water spout with that storm at this point, because it looks like the signature is right over the Potomac, or maybe just getting back on the land.
Yep, could be. Yep. And so, Oaks at 158, Hughesville maybe at 2 o'clock if it holds together. I think the storm will hold together. It may not be tornadic by, say, by 2 o'clock. So at 3 o'clock, we still have lots going on. All right, this is Futurecast. Still some heavy rain. Frederick, Hagerstown, down I-81 over toward Leesburg. We talked about that either side of I-81 corridor. That's where we were concerned about flooding. Now, to the east and south, on the other side of 95, a little better chance for showers and storms that contain tornadoes. by the time we get to 4 o'clock, we're still rocking and rolling with some heavy activity, especially north of town, and even some heavy activity now in northern Prince George's County, pushing toward Annapolis. So the evening commute's not going to be great, even if the heavy rain's gone. You're going to find roads closed. You're going to find some trees down here and there. By 5 p.m. tonight, okay, heavy activity north of Baltimore. Don't want to be driving from Baltimore up to Newark or even into Philadelphia. And then back to the west, we still have some moderate showers and storms, which is going to add insult to injury out here, and just light activity in green around the immediate metro. By 6 p.m., heavy activity pushing across the bay. Some of this little last gasp, if you will produce some heavy rain. We don't think we're going to see any tornadoes with these last line of storms. That's about 6 o'clock. By 6:30, they weaken a little bit. Again, heavy rain. I mean, even rainfall rates, just if this were to come to pass, would be 3/4 almost to an inch per hour. By 9 o'clock, this is just updated. This is a little more intense now at 9 o'clock into Howard County. We'll see if that comes to pass. I will say this model did a pretty good job on last night's storms, the overnight storms. So, tornado sheltering, yes, lowest level of your home. Basement is best. Interior room away from windows. Duck and cover. Protect your head and neck. Here's the index again. By 2:30, it's kind of pushing northeastward, which I agree with. By 4 o'clock, it's essentially in Anne Arundel County and then across into the Delmarva. Look what happens. It becomes enhanced over toward Dover and southern New Jersey, and that's by 5 o'clock. And then by 7 o'clock, we're in pretty good shape. That's why I think, looking at this tool, and this is not the end-all and be-all, but looking at this tool, I think that last line that rolls through between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. will have heavy rain, yes, and maybe some additional flooding. I don't think they're going to be tornadic, that last line, as really the conditions become less favorable. So we need to also concentrate on this. Okay, flash flood safety. Never drive across a flooded road. 6 inches of water can knock you off your feet. 12 inches can take care of the average car, and then 18 to 24 inches will move a truck. And as often as we show this, every time we see a car stuck in the water. And I don't really understand that, but we've had that time and time again. And if you're at night, you really don't know how fast the current's moving, how deep it is, and even if the road is still there. Sometimes the road will be washed out. Okay, we had a live picture down toward Patuxent River. Yep.
Ooh, that's a mess. Yeah. There's some gusty winds down there. Mm-hmm. And that's out ahead of the storms coming through, it looks like, right?
Yeah, it looks like they're moving out of the storm. Look at the waves, though. You see the wind. There's some wind down there, not crazy wind, but that's fairly active for that river. That's right now it doesn't look that crazy. It does not look that dark, which is good. But that's never a good sign because it just simply destabilizes the atmosphere a little bit. And I saw a little bit of sun around 12:30, 1 o'clock. So the watch continues, and this will probably continue. I think they'll start, chopping off maybe Frederick and Loudoun County and maybe parts of Fauquier and Prince William County, probably around 5 o'clock or so. But certainly east of 95, that watch is going to probably hold until 6 o'clock at least. The watch goes until 7 o'clock unless they trim it off a little bit. So we got a flood warning again for Allegheny County. We've had numerous reports of flooding in Allegheny County and also Grant County and Mineral County in West Virginia. And, here's the reason why. Look at all the rain. I mean, they've been having heavy rain pretty much all night and through most of the day. Nothing really tornadic. That's more a little south and east. But, wow. I mean, tremendous rain still now, Frederick, Hagerstown. I mean, going up 270 right now is going to be really tough. It's going to improve going out I-66 in a little bit, and going down 95 will improve a little bit. Really, right now, you don't want to be south or east of town with the tornadic possibilities. So here are the warnings. Now, this is the warning that goes until 2 o'clock, and this is Charles County and St. Mary's County. This is a pretty big area, all right? So at Mechanicsville, you're sort of in the path of that. So see the lightning picking up a little bit around 2:36. This is now canceled. There's no warning in this area, but Upper Marlboro, you have heavy rain. Going up 4, you have heavy rain up to 422. Rainfall rates there about just a little bit under 2 inches per hour. Rain has moved out of Bald Eagle now in North Keys. Well, the heavy rain's moved out of Bald Eagle in North Keys, and it's moved up to the north, up past Cindy Hill Road. And this is still a pretty good storm as it moves off to the north and east. This is the warning again until 2 o'clock for Charles and St. Mary's County. If you're right in this area around 236, I would hopefully you're taking cover after all we've been talking about. We'll zoom in a little more, and this is moving toward Grossetown and Hughesville as we go through, well, the next 12 minutes or so.
Hey,
I'd say 12 minutes or so, probably in Hughesville. So, yeah.
Yeah, in these areas with tornado warnings right now, what kind of wind speeds are we talking about? How windy is it there?
These are not super strong
Okay.
tornadoes. They may be, EF zeros, maybe 60, 70.
Oh, okay.
You
I mean,
know.
that's still strong, though.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
if
still
you're-
strong,
yeah.
But, to put it in perspective, anything 58 miles per hour or over
Yeah.
is a severe thunderstorm warning.
Okay.
So,
Right on the line. Kind of.
right on the line. Maybe they get 1 to 80, but probably in the 65 to 75 range, which, 74 is hurricane strength, so that's kind of impressive. And with all the rain we've had, remember, we've had 9 inches of rain in August. That's the 9th wettest August downtown on record. Yes, amounts have varied as you go west and south of town. Dulles did not have 9 inches. They only had about 4 inches of rain. But still, for much of us in the metro, it was a very, very wet August. And we don't need more rain today and any kind of wind whatsoever. And I think, regardless of the tornadoes, I think we're going to still see some wind gusts of 20 to 30 miles per hour as the remnants pull through the metro. So that's what we're thinking about. Jess, do you have anything on the velocity?
Yeah, I am still looking at that. There's still a pretty good rotating signature south and west of Charlotte Hall there, and almost due south with a slight easterly jog of La Plata. Okay, so that's where that
so
particular
down
storm
here.
that particular storm that we've been watching in Charles County with the warning until 2 o'clock. So if you live in these areas again. I would say right along I'm storm tracking here, showing you some of the roads here near Allen's Fresh, Newport Church Road, Penns Hill Road. You want to get in your shelter immediately. It is right on top of you. And then farther northeast towards Dentsville, Rogers Mill, and over towards Trinity Church Road, Dubois, and Grossetown. That is the area that is going to be next for this possible tornado. I'm going to put a little track on it so you can kind of see the timing on that. So I'm just looking at the radar velocity off screen, and it's showing, standby producer, it is showing that we've got the potential tornadic signature right by Allen's Fresh. So again, moving northeast at 35. If you live in these communities, Newport, Dentsville, Grossetown, you want to get in your shelter immediately as this storm is moving into your area. There's still a well-defined rotating signature, though the radar is coming back a little bit less strong. The reflectivity is not looking quite as strong, so maybe that's some sign of weakening. We're not sure yet. We're just going by what the National Weather Service warning is, and again, that is until 2 o'clock here as we continue to watch this storm move off to the northeast. That is in Charles County at this time. Lorenzo?
Yeah, a good reminder too for the folks who are maybe in some of these tornado watch areas. Perhaps it's not as severe. If you can have our WUSA 9 app handy, or if you haven't done so yet, perhaps download it. And if you can, send us a picture, a video of what's happening in your neighborhood. We're getting them in our inbox right now. And a quick shout to Olivia Gaber from Arlington, who just sent us a video. We're going to try and work to get some of this turned around for you. But again, if you can, if it's safe, please just send us a picture or video of what it's like in your neighborhood. That helps us back here as well to get a sense of what's happening across our region. Gentlemen.
All right, so again, we're still watching this potential tornadic storm that is moving through Charles County. This warning goes for a few more minutes here until 2 o'clock. And again, this would cover the areas just south and east of La Plata. So La Plata, though you are at the edge of the warning, I wouldn't worry at this point other than the fact that you have a downpour and a strong storm nearby. But in that area of south and west of Charlotte Hall and south of Bryantown and southeast of La Plata, that's where that possible tornadic signature is in the storm. And I've got that track on the screen for you so you can kind of see where this storm is headed next. Again, the tornado warning till 2 o'clock, so a few more minutes. Bear with us here, and hopefully, I'm not optimistic, but hopefully this is the last warning of the day. But yeah,
Ooh,
with
you
this
said that out
atmosphere-
loud, didn't
Yeah,
you?
well, I'm
You
not
said it out loud.
I'm not superstitious, but
Okay.
let's hope that the storms do relax a little bit in our area. But if you live in Sunny Meadow, Dentsville, near Gilbert Run Regional Park, right there on Oliver's Shop Road, Penns Hill, you want to get into your shelter immediately. As you can see here, we've got this potential tornadic storm moving through Charles County, right off of Route 234, and east of U.S. Route 301 there. So it's in that area there before you get to Maryland Route 6. In between there along Penns Hill Road, that is where the signature is for rotation that is indicative of a supercell thunderstorm that may be producing a tornado. Lorenzo?
All right, thank you, Chester. We have Tyrone Wells on the phone now with Prince George's County's Emergency Operations Center. Mr. Wells, can you hear me?
I can hear you very well.
All right, thank you for being here with us. I know it's quite busy there. Can you give us a sense of what you're seeing right now on the ground in Prince George's County?
Primarily rain,
Okay.
and you all have done an excellent job of describing some of the more severe conditions out there. Right now, we've just, over the last hour or a little more, we've begun to get bands of rain coming through, and we certainly hope people are not only monitoring the forecast, but are in a position to receive alerts such as you all have been discussing, so that they can heed those warnings and, if at all possible, just stay home and let the storm go through.
Yeah, you're in the Emergency Operations Center, so you have the big picture of what's happening. We know that Prince George's County is vast. So where are you seeing most of the problems right now? Where are they concentrated?
Well, we're seeing rainfall from one end of the county to the other on a rotating basis. Right now, there are no specific areas of high concern, but as the rain continues to fall, we suspect that will change a little bit, and we'll react to that as necessary.
All right, so you have these tornado warnings and this tornado warning in Prince George's County. I know you talked a minute ago about asking people to stay home. Any other advice you'd share for people who might not be under that warning, or I guess what people can expect a little later on in the day when the warnings expire as well, I should say?
So we hope that they've had an opportunity to prepare their home, removing items that may blow away or clog a drain, those types of things, that preparation, and if safe to do so, if they still have an opportunity to do that. But the main thing is just being very vigilant and trying to avoid the weather as much as possible.
All right, but the good news on your end, it sounds like just a lot of rain, but nothing major as of yet.
Not as of yet,
Okay.
and we'll keep crossing our fingers that
Yeah, we
will
are.
continue into the evening.
All right. Tyrone Wells with the Prince George's County Emergency Operations Center. Thank you so much. You stay safe as well.
Okay, thank you.
All right. All right, Top, what are you saying?
Well, we've got some good news here. We've got
like good news.
expired tornado warnings for Charles and St. Mary's County. That's the good news. Bad news, new tornado warning now for Anne Arundel County and for Prince George's County. And that is moving at about 35 miles per hour. The storm is possibly located near Upper Marlboro.
I see it.
At this point. So,
Right there on your screen now.
yep, there you go. So that is a newer warning, again, for Anne Arundel County and Prince George's County until 2:30. So if you're in the Upper Marlboro area, Marriott Hill, take cover. Queen Anne, take cover as well. This is a radar indicated storm, but it has a pretty good signature there. Even just by reflectivity, it has pretty good signature. So Green Knock and Marriott Hill and Queen Anne, you could see an isolated tornado. At the very least, you're going to see some more rain and some gusty winds as you go up Route 2 up toward 424. So Chester's going to track this for us. So maybe Harwood at 205, maybe Marriott Hill at 206, Birdsville at about 210.
So right there on the border too, the border between Anne Arundel and Upper Marlboro. So technically Upper Marlboro, it's a really tiny sliver east of the Crane Highway. but it still does count as part of the county.
It does, yes, it does. So this is a new warning here, and again, that will go until 2:30 for that little sliver, Prince George's County and Arundel County. And this is moving northeast at 35. This is one of the quicker ones we've seen. So you get ready if you're in Dodden or Marriott Hill as well. We can go back to Max 1. That'd be great for just a second. I'll just kind of reset for the watch. The watch continues for the entire metro. If you're in Arundel County, if you're Loudoun County and Frederick County south and east, and then we'll zoom in. That goes until 7 o'clock, and then these are all the bright reds. That is a tornado warning. That is a tornado warning as well. So that's what we're talking about, that little sliver of Prince George's County, but it goes essentially into Arundel County, and then that still is a warning for Charles County and also St. Mary's County. Zoe.
All right, thank you, Todd. Speaking of St. Mary's County, I want to bring on the phone with me Steve Walker, who is the Director of Emergency Operations there. Steve, can you hear me? Okay, it looks like we're going to work on getting Steve Walker. I'm sure he's pretty busy right now dealing with this tornado warning. So we'll try and get him back on the phone. Good excuse not to be here at the moment.
It sounds like he might be there, Zoe. Try it again.
Hey, Steve, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you for making time with us. I know you got a lot on your plate today, but we want to get the word out about what you're seeing right now in St. Mary's County under a tornado warning. What are you seeing?
Well, actually, we are monitoring just the way you are, and very fortunately, as you have just announced, that warning has expired.
Yep.
So it has passed on to Anne Arundel. But for us in St. Mary's, very similar to some of the other reports, we want our residents to keep their eyes on the sky and keep watching the weather reports. Be ready to respond very quickly to take cover when needed. But for the short term, I think it's passed us by, and I think we're in good shape for a bit. We are seeing overcast, pretty windy out here, but again, fortunately, it sounds like that's passed for now.
Are you seeing one particular issue there right now in terms of your emergency response, whether it's flooding or power outages, trees down?
We really aren't. Again, we're monitoring. We did get that tornado warning up around Charlotte Hall. Mm-hmm. We've been talking to the school boards. They did put their students on alert for a short time for the weather. But again, it is passing now, so I think we're quite a bit better shape, but we are going to continue to monitor throughout the afternoon.
Yeah, clearly this isn't over. We still have a couple more hours to go. What's your biggest concern as we head into the evening, Steve?
I mean, for us, it is always the high winds. The high winds come in and does quite a bit of damage. If we get the excessive rain with that, then trees are coming down. So high winds is always our biggest concern. When we get extended rainfall, then the flooding becomes a concern. But for now, what we're worried about is the tornado coming in, high winds, and doing traumatic damage and injuries. So that really is it for us. Right now, we got less than 10 power outages in the county. So again, right now, I think we're in good shape.
Yeah, and Steve, I keep saying this. I don't know if this is the right word for it, but in St. Mary's County, you all have really dealt with the brunt of these storms that we have seen for a good chunk of the summer. And I hate to say that you all are experts in this, but how have you prepared? How has that changed over the last couple of months, considering the number of storms you all have had to deal with?
So it really is the past couple of years, because last year we had the flooding and all that. So it really is just being vigilant, being aware. We have an excellent group of partners, with all the different resources, and it truly is just being ready and working together, operational readiness. We have a great, I have an emergency manager that's outstanding, does a great job, Gerald Gardner, and it just really is being vigilant, being ready, being prepared to respond when we need to do that, and bring in all of our partners, work together in one center, and we've been fortunate, but not without, some losses. We've lost roads, we've lost, properties and whatnot. Right. So just have to be vigilant and be ready to respond.
Like you said earlier, to the people living in St. Mary's County, keep your eyes on the sky. Steve Walker with the Director with the Emergency Services Department there. Thank you so much. You stay safe.
Thank you.
All right, Chester, give us another update.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Lorenzo. We've got some video we want to share with you from King George County. Chris Wiggins sharing this video, and that is an impressive downpour there in King George County from the earlier storms that we had that moved through there. We had numerous tornado warnings for King George and parts of the northern neck. At this time, things are relatively calm, which is great news. Back over on Max 3, if we can. I'd like to thank Chris for sending that picture, by the way. Greatly appreciate it. If we can come back to Max 3, and I want to show you the current situation with the widescreen radar here, and you can see downpours continue all around Metro Washington, including in the district here. And then we've got one tornado warning that we are still tracking there that has moved into Anne Arundel County now. Even though technically parts of Prince George's County is in that warning, the tornadic signature is completely within Anne Arundel County, and I've put a track on it so you can see. So again, Prince George's County, even though there's technically a warning for your area, you can stand down. We're not concerned about this tornado jumping back into Prince George's County. It's moving to the north with a slight easterly jog through Anne Arundel. So if you live in these areas, Marriott Hill, Dodson, Davidsonville, Birdsville, and over to Lee and London Town, you need to get into your tornado shelter immediately. That would be your basement or lowest level of your home with as many walls between you and the outside as possible. So that would be an interior closet, interior bathroom that has no windows. And if you live in a mobile home, you want to get into a sturdier structure immediately. Again, that is in the communities of Marriott Hill, Dodson, Birdsville, over to Lee and London Town. This is in Anne Arundel County, and that signature is showing up pretty much right in the middle of the screen. Let me see if I can get the pointer out to kind of show you. This is about where that tornado signature was when I was looking at the wind earlier, or what we call the velocity. It shows you how fast things are moving around the storm. So the rotation would be in this area here, and that storm system is moving off to the north with a slight easterly jog at about 35. This is the same storm topper that came through Charles County just a few minutes ago and moved into Prince George's County. They lifted the warning, and then they put a new warning on this storm as it's moved into that area. And I think the thinking is that they had a strong enough reasoning, of a strong enough a signature showing up there as it moves just west of Annapolis now of a potential tornado with that storm system. So we're continuing to watch this entire area here. I would definitely be keeping an eye on those storms down into La Plata and down in towards Waldorf and Mechanicsville. Those are some hefty storms there. No severe warnings at this time there, but we still have the tornado warning for portions of Anne Arundel County and a very small section of Prince George's County. And that's, again, that is something we're still watching until, I believe, 2:30 p.m. here. Topper?
All right, we are going to track those storms, and we still have that one warning. And we have Delia Gonzalez live in Oxon Hill. And Delia, what are you seeing out there? Delia, can you hear me?
Hi, Lorenzo, we're live here on Oxon Hill Road with 6100 block of Oxon Hill Road. We're just a short distance from National Harbor. I would say about a 2-3 minute drive from National Harbor and the Tanger outlets, just a short drive from there. You can see some sun is poking through, but the clouds and the sky looks awfully dark when we look over to our west here on Oxon Hill Road. The winds are picking up. It was raining a short time ago, however, it